Steven here, and this is our wonderful display that we made in the last video in my very chaotic flatland world with like 8 versions of tic-tac-toe that have been pasted in and destroyed by lava. What I want to do in this episode is show you the first way that we can hook up our display to different devices in order to facilitate different functions. So this one's going to be very basic, and then the next one will be a bit more complex, and so on, until we get into craziness like tic-tac-toe. So, what we'd like to do is simply hook up the numbers 0 through 9 to this guy, so that we can display numbers by either flicking levers or through the result of a calculation or something of that sort. Just going to turn off my email real quick so I'm not distracted. So this is done by means of something called a decoder. And although in this case I think it's a bit more appropriate to call it an encoder. But what we're doing is taking our inputs, which are the numbers 1 through 9 in the form of levers or buttons or something, and turning it into signal which will power our display. And this is something that you do actually have to do when you're working with these in real life. You can buy these guys for a couple cents to put them into projects to give you some output. So I like to start with number 0 because that's the way it is in computer science. So we're going to just build a long row. I'm using blue wool for the decoder. We're going to build blue wool over this. And what we're going to do is put redstone torches on the places that we want to light up when the number 0 is activated. And I told you before that 0 is everything except for the middlemost one. And I've labeled all these segments with signs up here. So let me just hop on top of this. Oh, it's a bit like, oh, you know why? I've got my render distance way high. Okay, so we need the bottom left one. We need the top left one. I'm not sure why that's down there. Oh, come on. Oh, there's a sign. That's why. Okay. Let me just replace that. Okay. We need the top middle for 0. We need the bottom middle for 0. We don't need the middle, but we need the top right and bottom right. So let's go see if we did it correctly. So right now we expect to see 0 illuminated, and it is. And now what we need to do is give this a power switch so that we can tell it when we want 0 to be displayed. So this is another one of the TheXboxNut's pro tips. So I like to just, you can either bring this down like this, or you can just put a lever here. And what we'll do is run redstone all the way across the top, so that when the lever is off, as it is right now, we see these illuminated, but when we select it, or sorry, hold on a second. That's right, I forgot, guys, I'm sorry. We want it to be the opposite of that, right? So we're going to have it on, sorry, the top on, so the 0 is off by default. But when we give it a signal with a lever or something, oh, I broke a redstone. Oh dear. Like this, then we want 0 to be on. So, sorry about that. It's a handy dandy inverter right here. And so that's 0. So we just do one of these for every number that we're planning on doing. So next let's do 1. One's a very simple one. And you want to build these one apart so they don't interfere with each other. So 1 is just going to be our leftmost 2, bottom left and top left, which is this one and this one. And then we'll run and, okay. We're going to throw our usual suspects back on the top of this. And our inverter. And a power switch. So let's turn off 0, turn on 1, and go verify that it works. And it does. Actually, we want to use the right 2 though, not the left 2. So I'm going to go swap that. You could use either one, but it's more common for you to use the right if you look at your alarm clock or something like that, or a watch. So we'll do a couple more of these. You can probably figure the rest of them out by yourself. Just look at your calculator, if you have an old school one, maybe not a graphing calculator. And so the number 2 is everything except for the top left and the bottom right. So not the top left. We need all of our middle ones. Oops, all three of the middles. Okay, then I'm actually going to go turn this thing off that I forgot to turn off before. So we don't want the bottom right, but we do want the top right, which is this one here. I have these labeled. And I'm using the location of them instead of the letters of what they stand for, the A, B, C, D, E, F, because that gets confusing for people who use a different convention than I do. So, alright, let's go test our number 2. So this is very simple, building this thing. Oh no, I accidentally put in the top left one. We need to get rid of that. Not a problem for us though, skilled as we are. Oh, that was a stupid mistake on my part. Here we go. Okay, so that'll be our 2. Let's do a 3, and or actually, let's do one after these repeaters so we can see how to wire those up. So this will be 0, 1, 2. Oops, I did it again. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6. Then here we would have 7. And we need some more redstone. So this would be 8. So I'll show you how we're going to do 8. And then after 8 we would just have number 9 right here. So this is pretty small. And after this you can add letters if you want to. I typically do A through F, which are used in the hexadecimal numbering system, which is a base 16 system. So using one digit you can talk about 16 numbers instead of just 10. So it's got some advantages over our system that we typically use in America and pretty much everywhere else in the world. And alright, I was doing 8. But it's also really cool because you can convert from binary right to hexadecimal without even thinking. So that's pretty neat. Okay, so 8 is going to be all of these. Hello, music. Okay. So that's all wired up, and we'll put our obligatory lever. And if you don't want to use levers, you can run redstone right into these blocks like this, and then it'll do the same thing. I'm using levers so I can very clearly illustrate what's going on here. And the one that's selected will have the top torch off, so you can see these are on, so they're not selected. And you can actually turn multiple of these on at once, which will just fill in all of it, so that looks kind of bad. But yeah, there's our 8. Pretty cool. So that's really the basis of this. You can fill in the numbers in between by yourself. Very simple. And again, you can take this out as far as you want to. You could have, I think 2 to the 7th is 128, so you can have 128 different things that show up on this display if you want to make codes for different things. I like to use these. I used one of these for my rock, paper, scissors thing. If you know the people's names that are playing, then you can dial in, like, if, let's see, if you have A versus B or something like that. I don't know. That's what I did in one of my, I did that in a class, built one of those. But yes, this is our basic decoder. Next, I'm going to show you how to hook this up to a calculator. It'll be in the next video. And after that, I'm going to show you how to hook up multiple displays if you want to have multiple digits. If you want to have like a 10-digit number or something, how we can have a ton of these. So, until then, take care and keep practicing.